The United Nations Security Council has unanimously voted to end the UN peacekeeping mission in Mali. The vote followed a request by Malian authorities 2 weeks ago for an immediate withdrawal. Under the UN resolution, the peacekeeping mission will begin the cessation of its operations on Saturday, the 1st of July. The process of withdrawing its 13,000 troops and police will be concluded by the 31st of December this year. The MINUSMA peacekeeping operations was deployed in 2013 to help restore stability. Its pullout follows years of tensions between the UN mission and Mali's military leadership, with Bamako accusing peacekeepers of failing to achieve their mandate. Let's get more on this. We have Jody Jacobs live for us in New York. Jody, welcome to the program. Good to see you once again. Jody, tell us more about the UN vote and what it means for the UN troops in Mali.
Well, thank you, Richard. Yes, and as you said, a unanimous vote in the Security Council. You don't often see that, but of course this has come as a surprise to many of the members within the UN Security Council, taken aback obviously 2 weeks ago when Mali authorities had said that they want the withdrawal of UN peacekeepers from their country. This now means that starting from the 1st of July, this operation of withdrawal now needs to take place. They've got until the 31st of December to do so. The UN says it's very complex. It's going to be quite a strenuous task to move all of its troops and infrastructure and military operations out of Mali. The UN Secretary General has been given until just the middle of September to come up with a transition plan. Originally, Mali wanted the UN peacekeepers out of the country within 3 months. The Security Council said that is impossible. It's too complex of a situation. They need at least 6 months. Already some member states in the Security Council saying that they don't believe that 6 months is long enough for that process to really take place, given that the UN had been, or UN peacekeepers that is, had been in Mali for close to a decade.
All right, Jody, picking up on what you've just said, it is important to stress that this came as a request from Mali. So what does it mean for the country?
Of course, the UN says, and UN Security Council is also very clear on this, that peacekeepers are always in a country at the behest of the authorities there. And in this case, of course, Mali had requested that UN peacekeepers leave, and that request was obviously granted by the UN Security Council. What this means now is that the UN peacekeepers who have been there for a decade will now have to hand over the security controls within that country that they've taken care of for the last 10 years. They will now need to hand that over to Mali authorities, and the Mali authorities will now need to take care of all of the security issues, be that military, be that the army, be that the police in the country. That will now be in the hands of Mali authorities. And you can just imagine that this transition process is now going to be quite complex, given that UN peacekeepers have, of course, been there for this longer period of time, and they've taken care of most of the security and the policing within Mali. That now having to be handed over to Mali authorities to take care of that. Of course, as you said, at the request of Mali authorities, they believe, and the Mali ambassador to the UN had spoken in the UN Security Council earlier, saying that they believe that they are now in the right place to be able to take over these tasks from UN peacekeepers.
And finally, Jody, one more question, if you would indulge us. Jody, the UN peacekeeping missions in some other places like the Democratic Republic of Congo have also been facing criticism and protests from locals. What's the feeling at the UN about all of this, and what's the way forward from your perspective?
Well, the UN very clear, saying that of course they do peacekeeping around the world at the behest of host countries, as they call it. According to the UN, they believe that they still have an opportunity to do peacekeeping tasks in the wider continent of Africa. They believe that they are still needed in countries like the DRC, South Sudan, and the Central African Republic, and they will remain there for as long as these host countries need them to. We also need to understand that UN peacekeeping, while they are there at the behest of the host country, it can also only be sanctioned by the UN Security Council. So in those 3 countries where UN peacekeepers are currently in, they have been, of course, been sanctioned by the UN Security Council. And the UN basically saying that they will remain there as the world body to maintain peace and stability in these countries as and when is needed. They don't see their withdrawal out of Mali as a reflection on peacekeeping on the wider African continent.